Welcome to Wavelynx Undercover, the micro podcast where we talk to people from companies who either resell, rebrand, or integrate Wavelynx Technologies into their own platforms. Today, my guest is Mitch Karren from SmartRent, and we'll be talking about how they approach the multi-tenant market. Hey, Mitch, nice to see you.
Hi, Sarah. It's good to see you as well. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh my goodness, you're the podcast master. I'm pretty excited to have you as a guest. So I introduced you earlier, but let's do it again now that I've got a face to the name. So Mitch Karren from SmartRent, tell us a little bit about yourself and your company, and of course how you formed a partnership with Wavelynx Technologies. We want to hear all about you.
Yeah, thank you again. So again, Mitch Karren, co-founder and currently serve as a chief product officer for SmartRent. SmartRent started back in 2017 with a pretty clear mission to make multifamily properties operate more efficiently using the Internet of Things and connected building technology. And throughout the years, we've deployed our solution, our smart home solution, and our smart access control solution to over 2,000 properties in North America and even recently in the UK. So we're serving a huge amount of multifamily properties and customers such as the top real estate owners and operators in the industry. And in terms of Wavelynx, we've recently focused on how to solve the multifamily issues by bringing legacy systems that are typically offline and on-site into the cloud, as well as bringing credentialing to the digitized world through mobile BLE credentials. So that's the main issue we're solving from an access control perspective, and Wavelynx has been a great partner so far in helping us solve those problems.
Yeah, you guys are, I think, correct me, I should have checked this first, but you're based in Arizona, aren't you?
We are based in Scottsdale, Arizona, and we've actually grown to almost 300 employees since 2017.
Oh, wow. And that was, I actually sort of heard of you guys, I guess, around 2018. I was in the video business and there was a big, of course, I was in the Southwest market myself at the time, but big buzz with SmartRent and really very laser focused on your vertical market. And as you mentioned, you're solving sort of the key problems, the critical problems, access control being part of it. Our partnership, as we'll sort of reference as we continue in the conversation, involves SmartRent not only reselling the Wavelynx readers as part of their package, but also rebranding. We're starting to get the SmartRent label on our reader, and also some integration happening where you're taking Wavelynx technology and embedding it into the SmartRent platform, such as we're moving towards, we'll talk about the mobile credential and most excitingly, the edge device. So we have a very strong kinship in terms of the problems that we're trying to solve when it comes to access control. SmartRent has launched a new access control line. Tell us about Alloy Home.
So Alloy Access is technically a standalone product from our smart apartment solution. So just to give a quick recap, our smart apartment solution was really our first product to market back in 2017, and that's what we've deployed for the most part up until about a year ago was when we launched Alloy Access as a standalone perimeter and common area access control solution. Essentially taking all the great technology that's out there from yourselves and from other partners and bringing the system into the cloud. So historically, the multifamily industry has been a victim of legacy access control technology, fragmented offline systems. No one from corporate can control the system. It does not integrate into the daily property management operations. Key fob management is pretty much a nightmare at every property you go to. And so our focus with Alloy Access was solving all those major pain points, centralizing control so the property manager all the way up to the head of IT can have access to the same software and view everything, every property across a single software application, being able to remotely and automatically provide Bluetooth credentials so people can move in and move out vendors can get access, guests can get access without actually having to key fobs back and forth. And most importantly, being able to remove people when they move out in a timely manner. One of the biggest issues the industry has from an access control standpoint is lingering key fobs, and key fobs being attached to user records that aren't authenticated and authorized anymore. And so because our system is already deeply integrated into the property management system and handles the automated day-to-day workflows, this really provides an extra layer of security that properties never had before.
Awesome. Awesome. Would you say, I remember talking to Dan, who's on your team as well, he was saying that virtual tours were becoming a big request as well, especially coming out of 2020. Is that something that you're seeing that you're having to address?
Yeah, so we actually launched a self-guided tour solution late 2019, which kind of set us up for strong success when the pandemic hit. We kind of treated as a bit of a blessing in disguise. We weren't hoping it was going to be adopted as much as it was because of the pandemic, but it ended up being highly adopted as properties really went from overnight shutting down their leasing operations and having to figure out alternative methods to still lease apartments. And our solution of allowing prospects to conduct unattended tours on their own really helped the entire industry turn their leasing operations back on in a short amount of time. And being able to do that with fobs is pretty much impossible. You can't remotely hand somebody a key fob. You can't leave a key fob in some sort of lockbox and expect everybody to return it. Mm-hmm. And being able to provide PIN codes and mobile Bluetooth credentials for seamless access, not just in the apartment unit, but the gate, the lobby door, the elevator, and any other door in between common area doors is imperative to the success of leasing operations. We really wouldn't be able to have grown as much as we have with the self-guided tour product without the Wavelynx technology.
So, and thank you for that. So let's talk a little bit about, you told me some interesting statistics. So I'm jumping around a little bit from mobile. I want to talk about the edge device, and not everybody knows about our edge device. It's not something that we broadcast publicly, but it is a product under our umbrella that is essentially an integrated single door reader controller that mm-hmm. we sell to our OEM partners who have the business model to suit it. And it's a product that you've taken under your umbrella and incorporated into your portfolio. Can you tell us a little bit about why you chose that product and what need it suits? Because you told me some cool stats about your vertical market, and I'd love for you to share that.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about access control historically, it's all about centralized panels connected wired directly to individual readers at doors or gates or other access points. The edge device is decentralizing access control, which for apartment communities is imperative. A lot of people like to kind of think of apartment communities as the skyscrapers in downtown urban areas, and there are plenty of those. Mm-hmm. But the majority of the apartment stock in the United States is more of your horizontally spread out garden style, or some people call it a cluster of buildings. And in those cluster of buildings, the access control is already decentralized. The gate is typically a different system than the gym door, and even the leasing office may be in a different location than the gym. And so typically, we already actually see those decentralized systems, and they're provided by 3 or 4 different access control companies. The gate company is different than the gym door. And so being able to leverage the edge device in this decentralized model and retrofitting these 3 disparate systems all on one property is adding enormous value to our clients. Being able to being able to aggregate and combine the different systems on a single property where they're already fragmented for just one property, not to mention a portfolio of 100 of these properties where each of these properties has a fragmented system within the property itself.
Yep. I think that's really exciting. And I think you've tapped into something that's going to be incredibly fruitful for you, especially with some of the conversations we've been having lately, which brings me to, so how does SmartRent go to market? What's your channel strategy? And can you tell us a little bit about some of your customers? You've given us an idea of the arena where you play in, but maybe can you give us some success stories? You don't have to name it.
Yeah,
You can't.
we actually been pretty fortunate from early on in SmartRent's history by receiving a strategic investment from a venture capital firm that's actually represented by some of the largest real estate owners and operators in the multifamily industry. So our initial sales funnel was organic through our investors. So a lot of our investors are actually our customers, and they own thousands of properties across the United States. So that's been our initial sales funnel and sales channel to go after. And some of the clients have had great success, are all top 25 NMHC companies, and they've all deployed our solution to over a dozen properties today, and rapidly continuing that expansion. And they're only doing it because of the problems that we're solving through cloud-based access control, remote credential management, Bluetooth access, and securitizing their properties.
And just to back up to the beginning of my question, so and thank you for sharing some of your customer successes with us. But how do your direct channel? Who do you sell to?
So we sell directly to the property owners and operators.
And then for the installation and maintenance, are there subcontracts to integrators? Because I know you have relationships with some integrators in various markets.
We do. We actually have a hybrid model. So we do have a series of channel partners, and they're selling directly to property developers as well. But we also have a general contractor network who installs and supports the systems.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Well, thanks for the clarification, because that's a little bit different than the standard OEM physical access control manufacturer model that we see and with the other partners that I talk to. So it's a slightly different approach to the market. And obviously it's very focused on the one vertical.
Yeah. The one thing I'd actually like to emphasize with that, and I know historically most of the industry has gone this channel partner route for obvious reasons. There's great benefits of going the channel partner route. But one thing that we've noticed with direct sales is the relationship with the customer, the actual end user. You have a direct connection with them. So getting feedback and iterating on your software is a lot easier when you're talking directly to the source. So at any given time, I can call up a dozen different property managers and ask them, do you actually like using my software? Where, another company who might be selling hardware, they actually have to go through the channel partner as a conduit to actually get the feedback. And from a product development standpoint, product is my world. I live and breathe product development all day long. Customer feedback is fuel to my team and myself. And being able to go right to the source for the feedback, it allows us to iterate faster and solve problems in a much more meaningful way for our customers.
Agreed. I think you're a much larger company than ours is at this point in time, but we have many similarities. And although our channel models are different, we breed that same culture, and the end user feedback has been imperative, to our product development as well, and to our, customer successes. That's how we have large enterprise customers as well who have adopted Wavelynx solutions. And knowing your team, your engineering team, you're bang on. I mean, they are so dedicated and passionate about creating your product to the best of its ability. And then they're so helpful, and they give us feedback, and they give us, so much information in guiding the product development that we're trying to share with you. It's just been an absolute joy to have our engineering teams work together. It's been really productive and really efficient, and we're excited to see some of the developments, some of the input that Isaiah from your team has made for our edge device. It's really been a synergistic and awesome relationship. So thank you for that. So let's just talk a little bit about the state of the industry. I mean, we just lived through a crazy year that was completely different than anything we'd ever experienced in our lives, any of us. We're still all trying to pick up these pieces and figure out what today and tomorrow is supposed to look like. In terms of, you've identified very clearly what the current challenges are, especially with the retrofits and the customer base that you're embracing. But what do you see? What's happening? What's coming next? What changes are going to be affecting us? What do you see happening in technology as it pertains to, the stuff that we use and we make in access control and
Yeah,
so
I mean, I think in general, we're at an inflection point, and it's not just the pandemic. I think it's just the state of the industry. It needs a facelift in general. And when I say the industry, I mean the physical access control space. I think a lot of real estate owner operators are realizing the pain points, and that's not just in multifamily. I think it's beyond that. Everybody really wants remote access. They want to use their phone to get in. They don't want to have to touch a door handle if they don't have to touch a door handle. Using the outdated legacy antiquated technology is not going to solve those problems. And I think the pandemic is really just accelerating it. We were focused on solving a lot of these problems before that, but the pandemic is only making the need for adoption greater and expedited. We have a lot of clients that are considering upgrading most of their common area and amenity doors to be completely touchless with ADA openers and Bluetooth access. So instead of having to physically touch anything, you can wave your phone near the reader and the door automatically opens. And you can do that all the way from the outside of the property into your apartment unit, so you actually don't contaminate any door handle. So there's companies that are willing to invest tens of millions of dollars across their portfolio to do things like that. And it wouldn't be possible with the combination of technologies that you guys at Wavelynx have produced over the last 5-10 years.
so touch on mobile for a moment, because it applies to so many of the problems that you solve in your environment. So what exactly is the current state of affairs with your mobile credential, your mobile application?
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about your mobile solution.
Yeah, we've done some amazing work to do a few things. First and foremost, almost every property that we've added our solution to, we've been able to remove key fobs and the need to transition key fobs between the property manager, the renter, or the vendor or the guest, and brought it all to our mobile application. So we've actually embedded the Wavelynx BLE SDK, the Bluetooth SDK, into our native iOS and Android app. So I'll give you a quick user journey of a resident. If Mitch Karren is set to move in this weekend at an apartment building, the property manager will actually process that move-in in their core property management system, such as Yardi or RealPage or Entrata, and that'll actually kick off a workflow that automatically authorizes a Bluetooth credential to me on the date of my move-in. So I can actually access the entire building and a set of doors within the building based on the zone that I'm approved to, whether that's obviously the lobby door, the elevator, maybe some common area doors in my apartment unit. And my Bluetooth credential in my native app will give me access on that move-in day. I don't have to talk to the property manager. I don't have to interact with anybody else. It's completely contactless. It can be completely touchless if you've implemented the ADA technology. But the most important part is streamlining that operational workflow. The move-in process has always historically been high friction. You have to meet somebody, you have to exchange keys, you have to do this, and you have to do that. And the pandemic has made that also higher friction because people may not want to meet somebody in person. So some properties that we've actually retrofitted since the pandemic, we heard stories of people leaving key fobs in envelopes in secret areas in the building to let people have access. And you can imagine how much of an issue that is. So being able to completely streamline this move-in process of being able to remotely move people in, granting automatic credentials through our Bluetooth application for residents has been absolutely paramount. And on the flip side, when you move somebody out, you don't have to worry about collecting a key fob. All you do is you process the move out in the property management system, and we actually automatically remove that Bluetooth credential. So now the phone's app is rendered useless to the building on move out day.
I mean, sounds like a great solution. I love it. So
And actually, I have one more thing to say that, and to further that, for vendor access and guest access, or people conducting self-guided tours, we actually also have deep integrated workflows with the property management system. So if somebody wants to tour a property, or a work order gets pushed into the system, or a resident wants to invite a guest, our application also automatically produces Bluetooth credentials based on those 3 workflows. And of course, when it's all temporary access, so whatever the logic the property manager wants to impose, self-guided tour lasts an hour. The vendor may need access for 4 hours, or may need access recurring over 2 or 3 days to fix the problem, or the dock walker needs recurring access every Monday and Wednesday and Friday for an hour. Whatever the logic may be, we automatically authorize and deauthorize based on that for Bluetooth access within our mobile app. So it's completely automated, hands off, no contact, extremely efficient from an operational perspective. Everybody loves it.
Excellent. If anybody who's listening is interested in learning more about your product or seeing a demo, what's the best way to get involved with you, to engage?
Yeah, the best way is either to go to our website at smartrent.com, or you can email us at sales@smartrent.com.
Awesome. And we'll post that on the video as well. Well, Mitch, I think we've covered everything. You've got an exciting product. We're really excited to be partnered with SmartRent. You're definitely the leaders in the multi-tenant space, and you're forward thinking in terms of your technology. Is there anything else that you want to leave us with before we go? We covered a lot of ground in a short.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the last thing I'll say is, I don't think we emphasize this enough with the edge device. What I was explaining with the edge device is important, but the real value in the edge device is the lower entry of getting a property retrofitted with smart access technology. Historically, it would have to be retrofitting the entire system, and these systems that I said are fragmented. The edge device is such a lower barrier of entry. It's more affordable than a traditional centralized system. It's going to allow not only us, but other companies to expand and retrofit existing properties out there that don't have smart access in a faster and more expedited deployments. That's probably honestly the most exciting thing. Is, of course, we'd love to sell it, hardware and wiring and tons of stuff galore, but the edge device is so unique and so innovative that it's going to allow us to expand our reach faster and further than we ever imagined before.
That's an excellent testimonial, and it's a testament to our business philosophy. Even though we're a hardware manufacturer, our goal is to make sure it's really the last reader or device you'll ever need to buy, so it can continue to support the technology that we push through there. So, we say starting with a Wavelynx reader, even if it's one reader at a time. So you basically embrace that philosophy. So good fit, good partnership. Well, thanks, Mitch. Thanks so much for your time. I'm sure I'll have a million questions that I think of after, so I might have to book you for a part 2. But right now, this is wonderful, and we'll get this out on our social media channels and invite everybody to learn more about the partnership between Wavelynx and SmartRent.
Sounds good. Sarah, thank you again for the invite. Appreciate it, and chat soon.